Hello, and a very warm welcome to the Andrew
Hello.
Eborn show. Hello, my special guest is Aline. Wait, how are you, Aline?
No, aren't you lucky? Yes, I'm very well, thank you. Do you know what is so strange? Everything's the wrong way around. Look at my. See, I have to do that. Never
Well, that's what
mind.
they do in
Right
this
now.
Zoom type world, isn't it? It's the lighting's a bit different, and the everything else. People sort of get used to. If you scratch your head, you've got to do this. If you look over that way, it's really that way, and it's
I know. It's irritating, isn't it?
wow.
Anyway,
People's
listen, you had a good time with Baz Cry. Sorry.
They're so used to this world now. As people say, we're all zoomed, as they used to say in Dad's army.
You're zoomed. You're zoomed. Low resources may affect your audio quality. Try closing down some applications to improve performance.
Ah, this is instructions to you about what to do with your computer.
I know. I don't know what to do. I had a long conversation with my daughter.
How is she?
She's got to do her another exam, you know. She has to keep doing these exams, like, you know, Who Are the Wives of Henry VIII? That's all right. She's got the history.
Oh,
but she's done. It's the science and the football.
The science and the football. Oh, that's rather good. Enjoyed it. Well, does she do any cooking? Does she do any cooking? Is she a good cook?
Yes, of course she is. She's Japanese.
No, they are superb cooks. We love it when that's happening.
Who's Chris Dodd?
Yeah, so Chris Dodd, he's a superb cook as well. I think he's connecting, albeit slowly. But I thought you might as well say hello to him as well.
Hello,
you never know what happens in these sort of things. Everybody just sort of pops in all at once, which is always good. It's rather like a London bus, isn't it? You can wait. You can wait for ages, and then people can all pop in at once, which is always a joy. But hopefully Chris will be able to join us as well, which is all rather fun. So yeah, so interesting. But you got so many little message saying that your phone is broken.
Yes, well, that was my phone has been crazy. In fact, everything's a bit balmy at the moment, and that is why I was having trouble getting into you just now. I couldn't.
Lots of people have trouble getting into me. It's kind of the wonderful Chris Dodd has joined us as well.
Chris Dodd, how are you?
Isn't this exciting? So, Chris, let me introduce Aline Waits, who is a superstar in the media world. You'll know Chris because he's a 5-star chef, and we were talking about cooking and the new show. And I thought we'd get Chris on. He can tell you all about what he's up to as well.
Yes, all right.
So, how have you been, Chris?
I'm keeping really well, thank you. Really well indeed. Yeah.
That's good.
Planning my menu for the show.
Oh, right. Tell us.
Isn't it exciting? It is now official. Today they've announced it. They've turned around and talked about Stella TV, which is STELLA, rather like the little beverage or the female name. So Stella TV, and it's out there. And what we have a galaxy of stars. So it's quite appropriate to be Stella. And Chris is going to be one of the regulars as well, together with Aline. So I thought you might as well meet, and you can develop that chemistry.
No, yes.
Good, isn't it?
We won't actually meet, though, will we? I mean, we'll all be at sort of.
The great thing is when we start off, I'll be in a big studio because they've got a fantastic facility. It's like the biggest stage in broadcasting. And I'll be able to bounce around in front of a green screen and look as though I'm traveling the world. And when conditions allow, then of course you'll come along to the studio. But to get it all going remotely is we can have lots of people contributing around the world. And we have the great and the good of the industry. And lots of superstars have all sent in messages saying they're all going to come along. It is going to be the best magazine show out there.
Now, I just have to say something now. That on the 29th, I'll be in Whitney.
You'll be swimming?
Whitney, I shall be in Whitney.
Oh, you'll be in Whitney? I thought you'll be swimming. Oh, well, Whitney have broadband. They have connections. I've been there.
But I shall be coming back from Whitney in order to get back on the 30th. That is what I'm saying.
Oh, I said, well, you don't need to. You can be anywhere. You don't need to change. That's the great thing.
I know that. But I don't want to be doing things when I'm supposed to be with my family doing other stuff. So I shall come back on the Sunday, and I shall be back on the Monday morning.
Oh, how exciting.
If we can decide what I can do on a Monday morning in advance a bit,
Well, it's going to be St. Andrew's Day, which I like the idea of something Scottish. And
well, you know, because I've got all these Andrews on, you know.
You've got all the Andrews, every single Andrew that ever
Andrews,
wanted to interview you.
I know, all these wonderful Andrews. I haven't actually got anyone to talk yet. Do you want me to get people to talk?
No, they can just listen to me. But I know that. But I think we want them to talk as well. Chris, tell us, Chris, because you've got some menu planned as well. What sort of things have you got planned for us?
Oh yes, that'd be good.
Because it's St. Andrew's Day, it's Scottish. I was thinking of doing Cranachan or Cranachan.
Oh, what's that? That sounds like something which you get out of Harry Potter. What is it? It's
like a, I don't know, I suppose a muesli, porridgey, yogurty thing that they eat up in Scotland. It's a simple thing. It would be easy for people to mix together. It's a breakfast thing. It's a Monday morning.
And you have to stand up while you're eating it. You have it with thick cream, right. And you stand up while you're eating it. You must.
Is that to help digestion?
I don't know what the reason is, but it is a law.
It's a law. I love it. So have you had this then, Aline?
But if it's not, we'll make it up.
Well, of course we will. I think on St. Andrew's Day we can do anything. It'd be fantastic. Oh, I love it.
That'd be funny, wouldn't it? Anyway, how do you spell it? Cranach.
Cranachan. Cranachan, I think.
I love it. It's the perfect Scrabble score, isn't it? This is what you want, because you can use that K.
And you can have a few extra letters in there, add a Y on the end, just for extra points.
No, well, that's what you said. You said it's usually
you. Chris, where did you get the menu from?
I'm making it up. I mean, that's the first Scottish dish I thought of. And it's a Monday morning. It would be a breakfast dish.
Porridge is very important, but you must tell everybody to stand up.
Well, I love this principle about people having to stand up, but it must aid digestion. Either that, or you've got to get away quickly.
I think that's what it is. You've got to be ready to go to the loo, I think.
Oh, thank you. I put it so delicately in the morning. It's got to be good.
Porridge is very good for that.
It is very good.
Anyway.
Well, how exciting! So this is so we've got a number of regulars. We've got some people who are going to do health. I have the Queen's chaplain. Every now and again, we'll come along with the thought of the week, the month, the day, whatever it happens to be, which is rather fun. We have people on cars. We have lots of music. I mean, all musician chums from around the world will be busy coming in and performing. We have poets. We have painters. We have artists. We have everybody.
It's only an hour, darling. It's only an hour long.
Oh no, amazing. But this is the great thing about this snappy way. No, but it's an hour every day. And they were talking to me today as well.
And are we going to have porridge every day as well?
Porridge every day. Well, I think Chris has got all sorts of things. Chris is the guide. I told you beforehand. Chris is the guy who taught me how to make a pavlova for my mother.
Yes, I remember that.
Chris is
I recognise your face, but I didn't know where I'd seen it before. Yes, that was what it was.
I'm everywhere.
My friend, I had a friend called De Villiers who used to make a lovely pavlova, and we had on Robin's 70th birthday. She made a huge one. Mind you, we had a big party of about several thousand people. So everybody, all the women had to make a cake, all the women, and all the men had to bring a bottle of champagne. It was a good party.
I don't think that's a fantastic part. That was the breakfast, which is why you all have to stand up. So
I think breakfast is fun. It's good fun, and I think the porridge is divine. Yes, and I do think they have to stand up. I mean,
Well, the other thing, and the reason that Chris is so...
There are several laws about eating porridge.
Oh, no, I think the other thing we're going to do, apart from looking at the recipes, we're going to look at all these wonderful laws and what you're allowed to do when you're not allowed to do things.
Oh, right. Well, I can find out all about Scottish pies.
So I think St. Andrews, this is the one.
Why should I find it out? But I like the standing up and the thick cream. You're going to have thick cream on it, aren't you?
And do you have a little bit of whiskey? Because you can have whiskey in porridge, can't you?
You can have whiskey. You can have all those things.
The Scottish make their porridge with water, normally.
With water, yes. Water, but you have cream on it.
On the top?
Well, yes, with it.
Yeah. And then a nip of whiskey if you're feeling frisky.
I'm always feeling frisky.
If you're not feeling
and if you're not feeling frisky, a nip of whiskey will help. It's going to be good. Well, I love all of this. This is going to be brilliant. And then throughout the week, every day, we're going to have a little bit of these little corners and little pockets of perfection. So Chris is going to come on and teach us all sorts of glorious things. Aline's going to do everything from talking about what's happening in the day to talking about theatre and show business, introducing us to lots of old movies as well, stuff which people...
Oh, yes, I was going to get Bill to do that, wasn't I?
Yes, you're going to get Bill to do
Bill's
that.
upset me today, you know.
Oh, Bill's upset you. We'll have a bit of gossip about Bill upsetting people.
I said, I'm fed up, you know, because I do get fed up. And I said, you know, I want to talk to someone. He said, well, what you've got to do is to get a poster and put, will you please talk to me, and walk up the street with it.
Well, that's the other good thing about it, because you can do a whole lot about...
sort of like the people sitting, I'm hungry, you know, that kind of thing.
Oh, that'd be rather good. Well, I think people will talk to you. When people wear these things saying, give me a hug.
Everybody talks to me all the time, you know that. I'm fed up with people trying to talk to me. Anyway.
We'll talk about talking, because we had Barry Cryer on, your chum. Baz was on the show yesterday.
He was good. It was good this time.
Yes, he was absolutely brilliant. And what I loved about it was he had just won the award for being the best ever in the whole of history. It was glorious, wasn't it?
The best in the whole of history.
I mean, it beat Shakespeare.
I haven't rung him yet because I wanted to listen to it first, and I have just listened to it. Because everything was going wrong today, so eventually I managed to get the computer working and the phone and everything. And
so you can hear all those. So what I love about the new show as well is sort of new production values, because it's going to be TV quality studio where we can do that sort of stuff. So it takes a different thing. So I'm taking my whole wonderful Zoom family, and we've done 1,000 interviews. Can you believe 1,000 interviews already with all sorts of diverse people? And I thought we'd get the best of the best and bring them along to our happy family. But we're also going to have interaction, because we can get lots of people phoning in from around the world. There's a big prize pot of money to be giving to people for competition, so we're going to be doing that.
Where's the money come from?
I have no idea. Oh, don't say that.
Ask you that anyway. Where's all the money coming from?
It's that wonderful money tree that people...
Teddy Green. I was mentioning it to Teddy Green. You know, I said, you know, he's going into his studio. He said, well, first of all, the first question Teddy Green always asks is, how much? I said,
yes, well, a lot of the green stuff, but I think the green stuff is under the green screen. So I think.
So I said, we're going to the studio. That's very expensive. He said. You know, why? How can they afford a studio and they can't afford to pay the people?
Well, the great thing about it, that's the great thing, and it's taking it production value. So I could either sit at home and do this on my little laptop forever, or they very kindly came to me and said, look, this is what we've got. We love this. We love all your guests.
But when things, you know, this is how Graham Norton started, after all. He started with mates, just doing little ones.
Yes.
Now he's doing lots of stuff.
So that's what happens. So I bring all my mates on, but that's what I love about it, because Chris is also, what you don't know about Chris is that apart from being a brilliant 5-star chef, he is also a fantastic magician.
Right.
The rumors are out.
Yes, I see. Now, most of your friends are magicians, aren't they? They seem to be a lot of your friends.
Well, a lot of my friends have a touch of magic in their life, one way or another.
Oh, I'm like me. I mean, I'm a witch. I found out that I am a witch. I found out from Facebook have told me to this very day that I'm a witch.
Is that what they said? Well, how does Facebook tell you that?
Play one of those games.
What?
Those games that pop. Do you play one of those games that pop up at the side and say, find out if answer this question?
I don't play those games, but then I had a thing saying, you never answer. We'll cut you off something or other because you never answered the questions. You never answered to the, you know, things we send you. The individualist or something it's called. And they complained about this. I never answered. So I thought, right, I'll answer them, you see. And what I answered them, and I found out that it's something to do with witchcraft. And I answered all the questions correctly. So I'm a witch.
Oh my, well, give us one of the questions. What sort of questions did you have to answer to become a witch?
Do you ever know when the phone rings? Do you ever know who it is? Of course.
Yeah, I have caller ID. I know as well.
Things like that. And all those sort of things, you see, all those sort of things. Congratulations.
Are you happy being a witch?
I don't care. I have been a witch, you know, in the past.
Yeah, I don't know. Once a witch, always a witch. You don't lose that witch.
Yes, I was. It was a joke. I belonged to a club.
Ah.
That was. It was a where you went for the, you know, for weekends. You know, it was a, you know, country club.
Yes.
And they used to have these sessions where they all used to go to in the dormitories and touch each other up, you know, and do all that stuff. And I found this very boring, you know, was heavens to Betsy, you know. So
Heavens to Betsy, was that her name?
Heavens to Betsy. Oh, I started a coven. I started a coven in opposition.
In opposition to the touching up. But none of that happened at the magic circle.
Well,
That's completely different.
Somebody do something to stop this. I mean, if that's all they can do to cheer themselves up, you know.
That's what happened.
Something else. So yes, we were actually. It was rather sad because we said somebody ought to have I don't know what it was. Something we wished on somebody, and it actually happened, which was rather unfortunate.
Oh no! Well, that doesn't sound good.
It wasn't nice. No, it wasn't nice. It was just something silly. I can't remember what it was now. And it was somebody called Freddie.
Freddie.
Freddie came down to breakfast with a pain in his cheek or something like that, whatever it was we'd said. We'd only done it as a joke.
Oh, like
I used to think it was Skidara and play the bongos. That sort of thing.
Well, I think the great thing we should have done, actually, if Freddie had been sensible, he could have had his breakfast standing up, and then that would have cured him.
Well, yes, it didn't last very long.
With a wee nip of whiskey, I reckon, would have done it. It's going to be good. Well, listen, I'm so looking forward to
I was actually thrown out.
You were thrown out of being a witch? That must be terribly naughty. What did you do to be thrown out?
Must have been all that toil and trouble to be thrown out of your social bubble.
I thank you.
The Witches of Wallingham, we were called.
Witches of Wallingham.
Are you from Wallingham? I'm from Oxted originally.
Oh no, there you go.
There you go. You might have been part of it.
No, never. No.
Anyway, we just sang and played around, you know. And
it was the playing around bit that got you into trouble, by the sounds of it. I think the singing was the fun bit.
We had, but we didn't touch each other up. We didn't do any stroking of people or anything like that.
Do any stroking.
But they were the ones. They were the bosses, you see, who were all stroked. So they wanted rid of us because we wouldn't.
Oh, is there a pecking order for witches?
Well, no, they weren't witches. They were sex maniacs.
Oh, that's a different branch. That's a different brush up, is it?
So they hated us for not being sex maniacs.
Is that what happened?
So they threw us out. They said, no, we don't have witches. The Witches of Wallingham, not allowed in.
The witches.
So we went. Anyway, we were invited back, but I didn't go.
Yes. And what happened at the meetings apart from guys coming down with a pain in their neck? What did you do?
Nothing. We just sang and danced and did funny.
What did you say, sang and dance? What did you sing? What did you dance? That
sort of thing.
And what does that mean?
In which language is that?
It's Arabic, I think. Turkish. Is it Turkish? And something sort of that way on, you know. I think it was Eartha Kitt used to do it.
Eartha Kitt used to join you, did she?
No, she didn't do it then. No, I got it from her.
Oh, you got it. You got the song from her. So you can come along with it, but it's not particular witches' songs or something. You don't have to sing those.
Well, I thought it was a witch-like song.
No, it does sound sort of witch-like.
In the stop, she would say, in Turk, the women have male secretaries. Oh, those Turks. That's what she used to do.
She was Gloria. Eartha Kitt is the memory of Gloria. Absolutely sensational. Some of the most wonderful moments when she has that sort of purry voice, which is glorious.
Yes, I can't do it, unfortunately. I wish I could. My friend Biddy does I Want to Be Evil. I used to do I Want to Be Evil. I did that as well, of course.
We remember. So you should tell for the benefit of Chris, because he'd love to hear this. So give him the 30-second version of who, do you know who I am? We should do that. I like that. Do you know who I am? So no, give him the 30-second version, because I think this is wonderful. And then we can exchange information. It introduces people to a whole new audience.
Well, I don't know whether it's very interesting. I mean, I think it's terribly sad. There's this girl who was brought up in an orphanage, several orphanages, and she had a very poor background. And they suddenly put her into movies. Somebody discovered her. I think she was a model or something, and somebody discovered her, put her into movies. And the thing that she never found out was that I used to dub her voice in the first few movies she was in. And there was a thing on television, and it was one of those reality things about, what is it called? I can never remember the names of those airlines, apart from British Airways.
Well, there's a number. Well, there is a number today. There may not be tomorrow.
The Irish one.
Ah, yes, Ryanair.
Ryanair, that's right. And there was a thing about it, about the people wanting to get onto it. And she had a seat at the back, and they said, "No, I'm sorry, that's where you have to be," because that's what she paid for. And she actually said, "Don't you know who I am?" And it was, it was so embarrassing. I mean, she'd just made a few movies, But she made one very important one. She was in with Olivier. She was
Lawrence, Larry. She was.
Yeah, with Larry. She was in. I can't remember the Archie Rice one. I think she was in that. Not an important. She was sort of a sideline person. But she did quite a few sort of B movies and things. Don't you know who I am? I mean, God, it's so embarrassing, isn't it?
That's not embarrassing.
You didn't think that was embarrassing. You said good on her. I thought
good on her.
Good on her at all.
I mentioned this to my chum Mike Reed, who's doing the breakfast show.
Oh yeah,
and he said he always tells the people, "Don't you know who I was?" Which I think is glorious.
Well, I did that to Glyn Dearman. I said, because I went up to him and I saw him at a theatre, and a long time after the Dales, and he was a nasty one. And I said, "Weren't you Glyn Dearman?" I said. And he said, and I said, "Well, I used to be Aline Waits."
Yes.
But I mean, it's yes, it's not.
I always like the variations of that. I always sort of tell people I'm what's left of Andrew Eborn.
I'm the bit they forgot to take.
Yes, it's always a thrill. Well, listen, I'm so looking forward to having you two on the show. It's going to be fantastic. It all starts on November the 30th on Stellar TV. It's global, and then we're going to go and explore the rest of the universe after that. And it's not 9 o'clock. Stellar TV. It's there. People can go along now. I'll put the link in there. And
Stellar of Starlight.
Stellar of Starlight, a galaxy of stars out of this world. It's going to be sensational. We have all sorts of glorious people. But for now, Aline, thank you so much. Chris, thank you so much. Look forward to seeing you on the 30th. Take care.
See you.
Bye.